Thanks to modern medicine and science, people are living much longer than they used to. And one of the most straightforward ways to improve a person's life is to improve their eyesight. And this is where the business I'm analyzing today comes into the picture. Harrow is a pharmaceutical company that specializes in commercializing treatment for ophthalmic diseases. Ophthalmic diseases refers to any disorder or condition that affects the eyes or structures surrounding them. This is a very crucial area of medicine that is only expected to become more relevant as longer screen times and aging lead to a higher prevalence of eye diseases in the population. Harrow is a $1.5 billion market cap company with a portfolio of highly promising eye care treatments standing at an inflection point of massive growth. Total revenues have grown 211% since 2022 to $276 million, driven by the release of new and highly successful eye drops tackling the multi-billion-dollar dry eye disease segment. But most importantly, the company has revealed a very ambitious target of having sales of $250 million in Q4 2027. This would be a massive 181% increase from Q4 2025 in just 2 years. If this feat is achieved, Harrow's shareholders will be handsomely rewarded. But before I explain how the company plans to achieve this, let me tell you who I am. My name is Ray Myers and I run the Global Equity Briefing newsletter on Substack. I have been writing about finance and investing for close to 3 years now and have over 30,000 readers across all platforms. I cover various investing topics and write detailed equity research reports on interesting companies. My goal with this YouTube channel is to bring my finance research to a new audience that prefers videos over long-form text. A reminder that this video is also available as a Substack article by clicking the link in the description or in the comments. Let's get to Harrow. Harrow's business model covers the entire eye, offering treatments for diseases affecting the outside of the eye, inside, and behind the eye. With a market cap of $1.5 billion, Harrow is one of the leading eye care disease companies in North America. While they are pharmaceutical companies with orders of magnitude larger eye care businesses, they are massive conglomerates that are saddled with other less promising and slower growing segments. This uniquely positioned Harrow to benefit exclusively from the growth of this important segment. The company serves the eye disease industry through 3 core segments. There's the compounding pharmacy, there's the specialty prescription division, and then there's the buy and bill division. And now let's briefly discuss all 3 of these segments. Let's start with specialty prescription segment. Pharmaceutical drug development and manufacturing is an extremely time-consuming and capital-intensive business. It takes many years to develop a drug, and then even more years to build a manufacturing plant. This is why Harrow has decided to take a completely another approach. Harrow doesn't invest in early-stage research and development. Instead, they partner with or acquire late-stage or already FDA-approved drugs to handle sales and distribution. And secondly, Harrow doesn't manufacture drugs. It outsources manufacturing to contract drug manufacturers. This approach allows Harrow to focus on selling drugs, not discovering them. Focusing on commercialization is a cost-effective way to grow without exposing them to R&D risk. This is exactly how Harrow got rights to its highly successful Vivi eye drops that treat dry eye disease. In 2 years since the launch, Vivi has reached sales of $100 million. Harrow acquired the US and Canadian commercialization rights from the German pharmaceutical company Novalik for just $8 million upfront. Only after sales began, Novalik is entitled to a royalty of about 10 to 14% of net sales. This demonstrates how effective this strategy can be. Harrow can grow their portfolio with a relatively small upfront investment, protecting the company from large losses in case of a drug failing. And by all indications, Vivi has huge potential. Per Harrow's 2025 investor presentation, there are 16.4 million people in the US with dry eye disease, and that is likely to increase significantly as populations continue to age and screen time grows. And only 9.1 million, or about half, take prescription drugs for it. And even from those who do, Harrow estimates that only 8% are properly treated. This is largely driven by poor efficacy and low tolerability of commercially available drugs. But Viva removes both of these barriers as it's significantly more effective and has much higher tolerability. Viva delivers 22 times more active ingredient to the eye compared to industry leader Restasis. This leads to an improvement in patients after day 15. Meanwhile, its tolerability is extremely high, with 99% of patients experiencing no or mild installation pain. As of Q2 2026, Viva has a 14.6% market share in the dry disease segment, positioning the company for significant growth. In addition to Viva, Harrow makes more than a dozen drugs within this segment that treat diseases such as glaucoma, allergies, fungal infections, inflammations, and more. While the specialty prescription segment focuses on medicines that are taken at home, buy and bill segment focuses on medicines administered by ophthalmologists during patient visits and procedures. Clinics purchase these drugs themselves and then bill them to patients' health insurance. These drugs typically have higher margins as they are more expensive and are used frequently. Harrow's most popular buy and bill drug is their ocular anesthetic Eyecare. In the US, there are 12 million annual eye procedures that require anesthetics. Eyecare gel has demonstrated in clinical studies to be effective as soon as 1 minute after administration and lasts only 22 minutes. If you're wondering why that is a good thing, it's because other anesthetics last way too long and cause discomfort after the procedure. 22 minutes is exactly enough time for a simple procedure. In the last 12 months, Eyecare had sales of $75 million, an increase of 265% from 2023. Another promising drug is Presensa. Presensa is an injectable steroid launched by Harrow in Q4 2024, designed to treat ocular inflammation. The management has targeted yearly sales of $100 million for this drug, but they didn't give a specific timeline for this goal. Now let's discuss the compounding segment. Before expanding upmarket, Harrow began as a compounding pharmacy specializing in eye care drugs. A compounding pharmacy differs from an ordinary pharmacy by not only selling medicines but also manufacturing them, or more precisely compounding them. Instead of mass-producing medications, compounders create specialized, customized versions for individual patients. Compounding pharmacies can create customized doses, change the delivery mechanism from a pill to a liquid or vice versa, remove allergens, or combine medications. This is the weakest segment of the company and also the least interesting one to me, because the margins are lower and sales are decreasing. For example, in Q2 2026, the compounding pharmacy generated $14.6 million in sales, down 32% year-over-year. This underperformance has largely been driven by the regulatory headwinds in California. Of course, it's always California. Faced with an increasingly tough, costly, and punitive regulatory environment, Harrow left California to focus on the other 49 states. And honestly, I would not be surprised if they sell this segment, as it's starting to be more of a headache than it's worth, especially in light of having all these promising branded drugs. As an investor, we must always focus on the future, and even doubly so for a pharmaceutical company. So let's discuss Harrow's pipeline and see what kind of drugs the company plans to begin selling in the future. Last year, Harrow signed an agreement with the South Korean company Samsung to become the exclusive US seller of its ophthalmology biosimilar portfolio. If like me, you didn't know that Samsung has a pharmaceutical division, now you know. Once the drug's patent expires, all pharmaceutical companies are allowed to create copies referred to as generics. And manufacturers of generic medicines have very low gross margins. A biosimilar is like a generic as it is a copy of a drug that has lost patent protection. But the difference is that biosimilars are for biologic drugs. A biologic is a complex drug that is created from living organisms such as bacteria, proteins, or animal cells. You're probably thinking, so what? But this is good for Harrow. Because of their complexity, biosimilars require lots of testing and FDA approval before they can be sold. For this reason, biosimilars have a much better gross margin profile than generic, about 30 to 50% margins. Gross margin profile and the prevalence of biologics in the eye care make biosimilars an extremely attractive area of expansion for Harrow. Biobis is a biosimilar of Roche's Lucentis. This biologic is used to treat age-related eye degeneration. Another biosimilar is Opovis. This is a biosimilar of Eylea. In addition to treating age-related eye degeneration, it is also used for diabetic eye diseases. In 2025, Eylea had sales of $6 billion, so this is a huge blockbuster drug. Opovis has huge potential for Harrow, even if the company gets just a tiny market share of the volume of Eylea. Just 2 to 3% could be worth over $100 million. Harrow just released Biobis on July 1st and hopes to release Opovis in 2027. Another promising drug is, I don't know how to pronounce this, Bayuklovi? Bayuclove is a steroid designed to treat inflammation and pain after eye surgery. This will be the first new ophthalmic steroid in over 15 years. Launch is expected to occur in Q3 2026, with meaningful revenue contribution likely in 2027. There are millions of simple ophthalmic surgeries in the US every year. The company is in a great position to grow the sales of this drug. And looking past 2027, their pipeline looks extremely exciting. For example, in 2028, they plan to launch Gmail, a ketamine-based non-opioid anesthetic. The company believes that this drug has applications outside ophthalmology and is looking for potential partners to expand to other verticals such as dental. This could significantly increase the total addressable market. Now let's look at the Harrow's bull case. US eyecare market is projected to experience steady growth into the next decade, driven by aging populations, greater screen time, and obesity. Analysts at Straight Research forecast that the global ophthalmic drug market will grow with a 8.45% CAGR to reach $84 billion by 2034. North America is the largest market, and it is estimated to reach sales of nearly $35 billion. With their current product offering, Harrow is well positioned to be a significant market share taker in this fast-growing market. Gaining market share in a growing industry is a potent combo for an explosive growth. Just 5% of the North American market by 2034 would mean sales of $1.75 billion in 2034, a 775% increase in a decade. It will be difficult, but it could be doable with great execution and a solid drug portfolio. Now let's build a 2030 valuation model to see what kind of returns investors could expect from Harrow. The result is total revenues of $1.16 billion in 2030. Meanwhile, the blended gross margin for the entire group I estimate will be somewhere around 72-73% in 2030. Furthermore, and other operating costs as a percentage of total revenues decreasing from 68% in 2024 to 45% in 2030 as the company becomes more efficient. This will lead to an operating profit of $322 million in 2030. Overall, the result is net income of $225 million in 2030. The most exciting part. With an exit multiple of 25, we get a $5.6 billion company trading for $132 a share. This will be an upside of 229% from today's share price of around $40. An exit multiple of 30 would result in upside of over 300% from today's trading price. Can it reach these estimates and 4x? Time will tell. That's it, thank you for watching this video today. A reminder that this Harrow investment case is also available as a Substack article. You can find it in the link below. Thank you for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Bye!